So for 16-2 practice, number 8 through 10, I'm just going to go through these with you and make sure you understand them, and then we're done for today. For 8A, they ask us for cotangent of 150. So what the first thing you need to do is realize that cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So we need to find the tangent of 150. 150 is not a quadrant 1 angle, so you need a reference angle. So over here on the side, I have all students take calculus, and 150 falls in quadrant 2. Then what that means is that my reference angle is going to be 180 minus my 150, and that's 30. This is my reference angle. So I need the tangent of 30 degrees. When you look up the tangent of 30, it's going to be radical 3 over 3, or 1 over radical 3, which rationalizes to radical 3 over 3. This is the tangent. Now remember that we actually need cotangent. So we found the reference angle for the 150. We found the tangent of it, and now we have to flip it. So it actually makes more sense to take this one, which was our original 1 over radical 3. The cotangent of 30 is going to be the reciprocal of that, or the reciprocal of that, but you're going to end up rationalizing it anyway. So it's just radical 3 over 1. Last thing, go back over and look. Cotangent is negative in quadrant 2, so this should be a negative radical 3 over 1. For number 8b, it's the cosecant of 5 pi over 3. So remember that cosecant is a sine sandwich. So we are going to look for the sine of 5 pi over 3. Let's do our conversion factor. Just find out how many degrees that is. So 5 pi over 3 times, put pi on the bottom so they cancel. Cancel the pi's. 3 goes into 180 60 times, and this is 300 degrees. So I want the sine of 300. All students take calculus. 300 is in quadrant 4. So what this means is that our reference angle rule for quadrant 4 is 360 minus 300, which is 60 degrees. So I'm looking for sine of 60. So sine of 60 is going to be radical 3 over 2. And then what we need to do is we need to flip it, because we are actually looking for the reciprocal of that. We're looking for cosecant. So when I flip it, it's 2 over radical 3, and then rationalize to radical 3 over 3. Now, going back here, remember that cosine is positive and sine is negative. So this needs a big fat negative sign in front of this too. All right, so recap for these two. Make sure that you're figuring out what your reference angle is. Make sure you're finding the value for your reference angle. Make sure that you take the reciprocal of it, because they're asking for reciprocal functions. And then go back and check your signage. Tangent is negative in quadrant 2, and sine is negative in quadrant 4. So these are both going to end up being negative angles. All right, number 9. Let me change colors. Number 9 gives us a value p, which is negative radical 10, comma, negative 7. And it's a point on the terminal side of x, the angle and standard position. Find the exact values of the 6 trig functions. All right, so if I have to plot this, this isn't too bad to plot. But a negative means left and a negative means down. So this is missing the R value. Ooh, this is missing the R value. So the negative radical 10 means left, negative 7 means down, and we are missing the R. So the first thing I want to do is find R. So when I find R, I'm using x squared plus y squared equals R squared. So I need negative radical 10 squared plus negative 7 squared equals R squared. The negative squared becomes a positive. Radical 10 squared becomes 10. Negative squared is positive. 7 squared is 49. This is going to be 59. And then we're going to square root it to get our R. Remember that the radius is always positive, no matter what. 59 is prime, so we don't have to worry about breaking down that radical. So I'm just going to put it here. And then it says, find the exact value of all 6 trig functions. So I need sine, which is y over r. I need cosine, which is x over r. Sorry, I keep moving the paper. And tangent, which is y over x. So let's do these first. Sine is y, which is negative 7 over r, radical 59. Rationalize it. Negative 7 radical 59 over 59. Cosine is x, negative radical 10 over r, radical 59. And when you rationalize this, you get negative radical 590 over 59. For tangent, it's y over x, so that's just negative 7 over negative radical 10. So we need to rationalize it by multiplying by radical 10, top and bottom. Also, this negative over negative becomes a positive. So we can get rid of those. And then it becomes 7 radical 10 over 10, positive. All right, those represent our first 3. And now what we're going to do is we're going to reciprocal these to get our second 3. So we'll do those in red. The reciprocal of sine is cosecant. Remember, sine sandwich. We're going to take the reciprocal of the original. So here's the original. We're going to take the reciprocal of that. So that's the square root of 59 over negative 7. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. We're going to do the original of that, in which case we have the square root of 59 over negative square root of 10. Rationalize, and you end up with the square root of 590 over negative 10. And then our last one is cotangent. And cotangent is the reciprocal of this one. So radical 10 over 7. And there goes our number 9. All right, remember that we are taking the reciprocal, taking the reciprocal, taking the reciprocal. Okay, so you flip it and rationalize it. Last one. Let's take a look at number 10. I need a new page. All right, number 10 says find the exact values of the 6 trig functions of theta given. The secant theta is -8/5, and the terminal side is in quadrant 3. So good to see. All right, so we know it's a quadrant 3 angle. And so right off the bat, I'm circling this one. And then secant is really cosine backwards, or reciprocal of. So cosine is x over r. So my r is 8. My x is going to be 5. Now, where does the negative fit in? Well, the radius is always positive. So if you want to make x negative, you can do that right off the bat. So that negative would go with the x only because r is always positive. It's a radius, it's a distance. So we're going to do x squared plus y squared equals r squared. -5 squared plus y squared equals 8 squared. This is 25, and it's positive because you're squaring a negative and squaring a 5. Squaring 8 is 64, and you're going to subtract so that you can get the y value. This becomes 39, and then we're going to take the square root of 39, which is ugly. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to write all of the trig functions out. Sine is y over r. Cosine is x over r. Tangent is y over x. Y over r is square root of 39 over 8. But don't forget that we're in quadrant 3. Quadrant 3, sine is negative. Cosine is x over r, -5 over 8. Tangent, y over x. Square root of 39 over 5. So this sine value, this y value is negative because you're in quadrant 3. So this is really a negative over negative, but tangent is positive in quadrant 3. So that means that this is your final answer. So you've got a negative radical 39 over 8, -5/8, and radical 39 over 5. Now we're going to do our reciprocal functions. I'll do those in red. Cosecant is a sine sandwich. So we're going to take our sine and flip it. That's going to give us 8 over negative radical 39 and rationalize. And you get 8 radical 39 over 39. Don't forget it's negative. Secant, we have. He gave us that one. And cotangent is our last one. We gotta take the tangent, which is radical 39. Oops. Radical 39 over 5 and flip it. And rationalize it. Final answer, positive 5 radical 39 over 39. Done. All right, good.